Before the foundations of the world were established, Jesus clarified his pre-existing nature, revealing to us numerous mysteries, one of which is the account of what transpired before the world's creation. This revelation is expounded in the Gospel of John, containing a profound prayer in chapter 17, an immensely significant chapter within the sacred scriptures. In this chapter, we can almost sense the very heartbeat of Jesus as he communicates with his Father. The Bible is filled with profound supplications. The entreaties of Solomon, Abraham, and Moses inspire awe. Yet, the prayer found in John 17 is unparalleled in its grandeur. In John 17, Jesus speaks of the glorious communion he shared with the Father even before the world's inception. John 17 verse 5 captures this sentiment, "And now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began." Before the earth's inception, God existed in his full splendor, with his Son participating in that very majesty. Genesis records the beginnings of many things, including the birth of humankind and the wonders of creation. However, it is clear that God's origin is not documented there. From the very beginning of the scriptures, God was present, with his existence predating the creation of the universe as described. Before our cosmos came into being, there must have existed an eternal entity or force. Scriptures affirm that this eternal entity is none other than God, as multiple verses attest. The Bible conveys that God is uncreated, eternal in essence, having existed from time immemorial and destined to exist for eternity. Intriguingly, in the inaugural chapter of Genesis, the singular term El is replaced by the plural Elohim, implying the existence of three or more divine entities. Thus, the very first sentence in Genesis intriguingly pairs a plural noun with a singular verb, suggesting the Trinitarian nature of God. Genuine prayers often reveal the deepest depths of a person's soul. John 17 offers a unique glimpse into the nature and heart of Jesus. Within this prayer, Jesus touches upon various themes prevalent throughout his gospel: glory, the act of glorifying, being sent, belief, the world, and love. Jesus petitions for his glorification: "Father, the time has come. Glorify your Son." Previously, the hour for Jesus' glorification had not yet arrived, but now it has. While Jesus' initial prayers were for himself, they were devoid of self-centeredness. His concern for himself was intrinsically tied to glorifying the Father. The Son can only bring glory to the Father if the Father first heeds the Son's supplication: "Glorify your Son." Notably, Jesus did not solely rely on his crucifixion to exalt the Father. His entire life was dedicated to God's glory. From his consecration in the temple to his years of unwavering obedience in Nazareth, Jesus continually uplifted the Father. Jesus magnified the Father through unwavering faith, obedience, and service throughout his earthly ministry. Every sermon, every miraculous healing, every discipleship training session, every confrontation with the religious elite, every wise response, and every compassionate interaction all serve to exalt God the Father. Jesus declared, "I have finished the work you have given me to do," with unwavering conviction and assurance, perceiving his sacrificial act on the cross as already accomplished. Jesus entreated the Father to glorify him with the same glory intrinsic to the Father himself. His prayer was not an assertion of independence but a testament to his unwavering reliance on God the Father. Many seek accolades and recognition for themselves, but their yearning for glorification contrasts starkly with Jesus' supplication. He states, "Glorify me alongside yourself," highlighting the distinction between dependence and independence. He further requests, "Glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began." Jesus was acutely aware of his pre-existence and its nature, recognizing a time in the distant past where the Son and the Father shared in this glory. Jesus could not earnestly offer such a prayer if he were not Yahweh himself, co-equal with God the Father. In Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 8, Yahweh proclaims that he does not share his glory with another. If both the Father and the Son partake in this glory, then both must indeed be Yahweh. A biblical scholar remarked upon a paramount plea, for the Father to receive him back, that he might reclaim the glory he had forsaken to fulfill his mission. This entreaty undeniably attests to his pre-existence and equality with the Father, affirming his declaration that he and the Father are one, John 10 verse 30. Throughout the Gospel of John, emphasis is consistently placed on Jesus' glory. John meticulously recorded the many ways in which Jesus alluded to his own glory in this very prayer. The series of events leading to the crucifixion began with betrayal, with the proclamation, "Now the Son of Man is glorified," John 13 verse 31, pertaining to the very purpose of Jesus' incarnation. He was destined to die and rise from the dead, serving as a vicarious atonement. The Son would magnify the Father, and the Father would, in turn, exalt the Son, amplifying each other's glory. To magnify God is the calling of Christians, directing every thought, word, and deed toward His glory. Before you continue watching, please do us a favor. Like this video, click the notification bell so you will be notified when we upload another video. Also, comment and share your thoughts about this video in the comments section. Now, let's get back to the video. Jesus' prayers were not solely for his sake, he also interceded on our behalf. In John 17 verse 24, Jesus articulates, "Father, I desire that those whom you have given me may be with me where I am, to behold my glory which you have given me, for you loved me before the foundation of the world." Regardless of our spiritual state or progression, our indebtedness lies with the Savior who sacrificed himself for us, who interceded on our behalf so we might be one with him, and who set such a sublime paradigm for our own prayerful lives. Ultimately, we encounter Jesus in his splendor in the book of Revelation. Within its pages, John was tasked to record the visions he bore witness to, perceiving a formidable Jesus incomparable to any ordinary man. Revelation, chapter 1, verses 12 to 13 narrate, "I turned to see the voice that spoke with me. And having turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and in the midst of the lampstands, one like the Son of Man, clothed with a long robe and with a golden sash around his chest." John had indeed beheld the esteemed Son of Man, Jesus Christ. John describes the resonant voice he heard as distinctive and compelling, akin to the blare of a trumpet. This potent voice belongs to the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, standing at the helm and culmination of all existence. As Jesus identifies himself with these appellations in Revelation chapter 1, verse 18, we discern it to be the robust voice of Jesus. The first and the last is a title ascribed to the Lord, Yahweh, the God of Israel. The designation Alpha and Omega carries the same essence as the first and the last. This passage in the New Testament provides unequivocal affirmation of Jesus' divinity. One can only speculate on the thoughts that raced through John's mind as he turned around. The sound of the voice he heard surely didn't match his memory of Jesus' voice. John likened it to a trumpet, as mentioned in Revelation, chapter 1, verse 10. Yet, he recognized it as Jesus since the voice identified itself as the Alpha and Omega. After spending so much time with Jesus during his earthly ministry, John now had the chance to encounter him face to face after all these years. The robe and sash might evoke images of the high priest from the Bible, possibly hinting that Jesus serves as the high priest for his people. The only other mention of sashes in Revelation, in chapter 15, verse 6, also made of gold, portrays a priestly image of angels in the heavenly temple. Thus, Jesus emerges not just as a king but also as a priest, a blend of imagery that became familiar to the Jewish people during the Maccabean period. John continued in Revelation 1 verses 14 to 15, describing, "His head and hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes like a blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters." The depiction of his eyes mirrors that of an angel in the book of Daniel. Daniel, chapter 10, verse 6, narrates, "His body was like topaz, his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and his voice like the sound of a multitude. His limbs' portrayal is akin to an angel's description in Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 7. Their legs were straight, their feet were like those of a calf and gleamed like burnished bronze. The angelic traits evident in John's vision do not equate Jesus with the angels. Instead, they probably highlight Jesus' supreme grandeur, portraying him as no less glorious than a radiant angel. Eyes like blazing flames can signify passionate eyes in Greek literature but might also embody the supernaturally glowing eyes of divine beings or angels. The glowing metal might also symbolize God's glory, as in Ezekiel 1 verse 27. Yet, other features suggest that while John portrays Jesus' glory as no less than that of an angel, it's undoubtedly more. Jesus' face also shone like the sun, a motif found in Greek texts depicting deities shining like the sun or lightning. Jewish writings did the same for angels and other figures, but also for God himself. John continues in Revelation, chapter 1, verses 16 to 17, he held 7 stars in his right hand. From his mouth came a sharp two-edged sword, and his face was like the sun shining in its full strength. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead. Even though John was an apostle who had known Jesus when he was on earth, he was awestruck by this astounding vision. Even the 3 years John had spent on earth with Jesus did not adequately prepare him for the moment when Jesus appeared in his heavenly majesty. At this moment, John realized the divine power and majesty that Jesus had set aside while living on earth. Philippians 2 verse 7 in the Amplified Bible states, "But emptied himself, without renouncing or diminishing his deity, but only temporarily giving up the outward expression of divine equality and his rightful dignity, by assuming the form of a bond-servant, and being made in the likeness of men he became completely human but was without sin, being fully God and fully man." At that moment, John understood that it was a miracle that Jesus could shield his glory and authority while walking on this earth. Revelation, chapter 1, verse 18 in the Amplified Bible states, "And the living one, the ever-living, I am living in and beyond all time and space. I was dead, but see, I am alive forevermore, and I have the keys of absolute control and victory over death and Hades, the realm of the dead." Jesus is the one who lives, who was dead, and who is alive forevermore. He holds the credentials of resurrection and lives never to die again. The victory Jesus gained over sin and death is eternal. He did not rise to die again. Only Jesus holds the keys to the realm of the dead and death, disproving the belief that the devil has authority over who lives and dies. Originally, Revelation was known in ancient Greek as apocalypsis, meaning revelation or unveiling. The book of Revelation is a revelation of Jesus Christ, in the sense that it belongs to him, he makes the revelation. Jesus is the person the book talks about. As Spurgeon states, how much we need a revelation of Jesus. The great fault of many teachers is that Christ is only a paper figure to them, certainly more than a myth, but a character from the distant past, a historical figure who lived many years ago and performed admirable deeds, through which we are saved, but far from being a living, present, and bright reality. Revelation 1, verse 1 states, "The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show to his servants." God chose to reveal this information about Jesus Christ to humanity, giving it to be shared with others, not kept secret. It's an apocalypse, a revelation, not something hidden. The book of Revelation is a book of predictive prophecy, predicting future events relative to its time of writing. While not all prophecies are seen as predictive, this prophetic text clearly is. Some may argue that we should not be concerned about prophecy, seeing it as a frivolous endeavor. However, if God cared enough about prophecy to discuss it, we should care about listening. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, click the notification bell so you will be notified when we upload another video. Also, comment and share your thoughts about this video in the comments section. You are blessed.